This hour's Best of Imus was produced with suggestions from Kevin Holland of Fort Madison, Iowa. If you have suggestions for your own Best of Imus show, email them to imus@msnbc.com.
Man, this going to be a great show this morning. Bald-headed weasel, bald-headed buzzard. Just stop now. God, I hate Bernard. You're fired? You're fired. You telling me to shut up? I'm your immediate superior.
What are you, nuts?
This is MSNBC. I think that pretty much says it all.
Imus!
Mike Francesa and Chris Russo. These two nitwits. And I will say to them separately, I'll say, I'll run into Mike and I'll say, Mike, Chris is killing you. And Mike will look at me, and there's that knowing look in his eye because
he's buying it.
He absolutely, because he believes that.
Oh, I definitely believe
Mike and the Mad Dog host an afternoon talk show that is blown away #1. And if you've ever heard it, you would find yourself saying, why? Because Rather is the man.
Rather's a jerk.
I like Brokaw. Well, Brokaw's great. Like, what's not to like? Sure. Rather's on his program a lot, and he can come on whenever he wants. Just simply because Brokaw's smarter than he is. I don't think that bothers Dan at all. Mumbles. Brokaw owns a radio station in Rapid City, South Dakota, and I guess now he's thinking about putting the program on. It's the most popular morning radio program in the history of this medium. And this moron is thinking about putting it on in his little hideous, stupid hay baling station there in Rapid City, South Dakota. Congratulations to Tom Brokaw and people at MNB News.
Right.
Mr. Brokaw once again prevailed in the weekly Nielsen news cast ratings. I think we should all go over to 30 Rock and beat the hell out of him. There's no reason that Rather and Brokaw can't be fighting it out for #1. Most of the segment of Tim Russert and his father in Buffalo was in a bar.
There you go. See Russert bringing back the empties.
Loudmouth.
After a big week.
And I thought Russert was, I don't know, a little fawning, little kissy face with.
A little effusive.
Showing his true colors.
I wrote Russert kind of a funny fax. I sent him a funny fax, and it hurt his feelings, he said. It's another example of me just not knowing where the line is, I think he's almost the best on television at interviewing people. I love Russert.
Well, of course, man.
Brother's also a tramp.
No, I'm not, and you're a jerk.
You're a double jerk. My brother is stupid. Fred?
Yeah,
You're an idiot.
I am.
You're a bald-headed old fool. Because my brother's a gangster. All right, I love you, Fred.
I love you, bye.
We are at Infinity Broadcasting Headquarters, New York City, syndicated around the country on the radio by Westwood One Entertainment, and simulcast on the stupid MSNBC.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., which is the only time anybody watches MSNBC.
Oh, you know something? You're an ingrate.
Is in the morning. The rest of the day is pretty much a washout. So, which is why even Laura Ingraham got another job at CBS News because she recognized that nobody was going to see her on MSNBC, right?
She has a career to think about.
Anyway, Miss Ingraham is a political and social correspondent for CBS News and MSNBC, and she's a former speechwriter for George Bush.
Oh, please.
Well, who was it?
Gary Bauer, who is the domestic policy advisor for Reagan in 1987 at the White House. The Reagan, the real.
What's this attitude? God, I got something wrong. I have a headache.
You're already criticizing one of my places of employment, MSNBC.
You know.
Did they use you to do the Christmas special, The Grinch? I mean, were you the model for that show?
You know MSNBC
please.
is dreadful. You know that.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
So anyway, hey, you know what was funny the other day? Your little friend Eric Liu, what's his name?
Eric Liu, and he's not a little friend. He's very nice.
He's a diminutive little fellow.
Yeah.
Former Clinton speechwriter.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And he says, and I swear to God, you can get the tape. He says, well.
I don't make tapes.
He says, well, they have to be sure to keep her on a short leash.
That and having the bag over the head line is not a good metaphors to be using with the First Lady.
No. And,
Short leash?
yeah.
I love it.
So it's probably the Dick Morris influence. Huh?
Hearts 2 in 1.
So how are you?
I'm great. As a matter of fact, I thought of you. This weekend I was I had to give a speech in Florida. I was down in Fort Myers. Had one of these epiphanal moments. It's Thanksgiving, so we should look at things that make us thankful to be alive. And I get off the plane, and I'm going down the road in the car. This beautiful vista, kind of farmland, dotted with little picket fenced houses and little farm machinery shops and so forth. Sun was out. Sky was blue, about 80 degrees, left this horrid weather behind.
What are you writing, a novel here or telling me a story?
Will you stop it? You're
I'm
rude.
All right, I'm sorry.
Rude. No wonder that
apologize.
former woman quit working for you, the one who tried out at the Broadway show. Anyway, so on the horizon, I look up and this just beautiful sight, blue and golden shimmering off the horizon. Super Walmart. Super Walmart. McDonald's. They had a vision center. They had a pharmacy. They had a farm product store. Absolutely, absolutely everything in one place.
1 hour
And
photo finisher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know something? This was, it made me glad to be an American because now all these senior citizens aren't endangering the rest of us out on the street by having to drive all over creation to do their errands. And, you know, actually, they might have taken it a bit too far, though, because I was walking around in there and they actually have a 2-for-1 on radial keratotomy now at Kmart, which might take the free market thing a little far. But
Walmart has ruined more communities in this country.
This is an example of why you have become.
I hate Walmart. I hate everything about Walmart.
You have become an elitist
No, I haven't.
snob.
Absolutely
yes, you
have
have.
not.
You
Have
are
not.
a protector
No.
of yuppies,
No,
and they're
absolutely
right.
not.
Let me finish. They're right to shop at inconvenient boutiques that sell flannel shirts that you have to call Visa to increase your line of credit to buy.
That's just not true.
Salsa,
That's you.
$500
That's just not true.
salsa.
That's what you've become.
Exactly.
No, it's absolutely. But why are you siding with her?
You've become-
I hope she has a job for you that pays what this one pays.
Absolutely.
You ever been to Winslow, Arizona? Walmart ruined Winslow,
Good. What do you
Arizona.
mean it ruined
and
it?
I'm not
People-
talking about little boutiques. I'm talking about little
Right.
mom and pop general stores where you could go in and get
they had to compete. They had to lower their prices.
Oh, well, they're disgraceful people, and people who shop there ought to be assassinated.
Only yuppies who can buy $80 flannel shirts.
Are you talking to me? Get over it.
No, I'm talking to Ms. Ingram.
You leave Miss Ingram alone, you bald-headed Nazi.
Talking to you.
That we're being lectured to by Laura Ingram from MSNBC.
It makes you glad to be an American. You have everything in one place. It's all reasonably priced, and you know
it's junk. It's junk made in Taiwan. That's the first thing.
That is junk that is being bought over this country
It's
by
junk.
people who can afford it. And
It is
by the
junk.
way, I want to
Creates
ask you:
jobs.
is there something going on at Auto Body Express with the catalog sales this year? Because I'm walking down the aisle near the little snack bar there, and I look over, and this guy is frying up burgers. I could have sworn it was Fred. Totally looked like Fred. And I heard him muttering something about this gosh darn foreign competitors, and then he was saying something about, and I have this manifesto I'm trying to publish too.
Well, my brother has nothing. My brother has no problem with. In fact, we have a Japanese version of the Auto Body Express calendar. I mean, catalog.
I bet it's cheaper.
It's just that. Well, no, it's not.
Pictures are probably better too. I've seen those pictures. So you try to come off as this working class, you know, from the railroad, from the uranium mine. You worked your butt off, and you have become a protector of yuppie elitism. Imus in the morning is become a yuppie and going after Walmart. And you went into a tirade last week on Walmart.
You know what I'm going to do on my vacation? I'm going to go around and torch Walmart. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, I wanted to talk to you about Newt and about this new campaign now to try to discredit Kenneth Starr,
That's
which
funny.
seems to
That's
be a
what I
little
wanted to talk about
absurd,
this morning too.
So we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Can you settle down and stop screaming at me, do you think? I don't feel well. I have a headache.
He bought a $900 cat.
Yay.
Oh, I heard about that. Oh, that's dreadful.
Why?
Cats are just hideous.
Oh,
creatures.
no, I love little Chuck.
Just vacuum it up. Just if you get the Hoover Super Suck, you can vacuum right up with just.
Oh, man, I
Hunt
hate
it off
you.
the terrace.
Put it on.
Here now, live from Santa Fe, New Mexico, the owner and operator of the Auto Body Express, my brother Fred Imus. Good morning, Fred.
What's going on?
Well, not too much. Are you upset with Miss Ingram now?
Hey,
Well,
Fred.
I think she ought to get her facts straight before she starts criticizing me. That's what I think.
Well, well, what are the facts? What are the facts here now?
Problem.
The facts are most of Walmart employees are part-time, so they don't give them any benefits.
All right.
I pay 3 times the money that Walmart pays. And I had an employee off for 6 weeks that had a baby.
All right.
She got her paycheck every week.
Oh, you're a wonderful.
I've got one off
You're
right
wonderful,
now.
Bless you,
We
Fred.
should have a federal program that has everyone being as nice as Fred.
I've got one off right now that has an operation,
Yeah.
and she gets her paycheck every week. She will get it for 2 weeks, she will get it for 2 years. I don't care how
I'm
long
calling
she's
the
off.
Nobel Committee. I'm nominating you.
But I mean, to
That is
criticize
it.
the
It's
Walmart's the
official.
crummiest place in the country, and they don't pay. I pay 3 times the money they
Walmart
pay.
employs thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands
And
of people
they
across
pay
this
them no
country.
money. You go work. Hey, why don't you go work for Walmart?
Fred, man.
I practically do.
Get rid of Fred. Fred,
Yeah,
obviously.
you're vicious
My
today.
brother's obviously angry.
Go back to bed.
And go back to bed. And
Go find your teeth.
Go
and then
find
call
your
us.
teeth and glue your hair on and then call us. God almighty.
Snap your
leg
hair
off,
back
man.
up.
But my brother's right. Walmart, they have all part-time employees. They don't get many health coverage. They screw them to
Good.
death. They sell a bunch of junk from Taiwan, and they
Good. Why
ruin
should they give them
communities
benefits if
in
they
this
don't have
country.
to? We don't need another federal program mandating what businesses do. If they can get away with giving no benefits, more power to them. It's great.
Now you're a Nazi.
Good.
It's
That's why their products are cheap and your brother's products are completely ridiculously expensive. And they're for yuppies who can afford yuppies who don't want to spend time to buy their families gifts and Christmas presents. Have
First
to
of
go
all,
through a
let me
catalog.
explain something to you. You see this denim jacket?
I'm so
You know what you'd have to
tagging.
pay for that at Ralph Lauren or Bloomingdale's?
No one wants to buy that.
$220. You can't make enough of them. You can't make enough of them.
First of all, you shouldn't
It's
use the
not a-
American flag in a disrespectful way on a jacket like
We're
that.
not
That's
using-
totally
Respectful way. That's
That-
It's a respectful
No,
way.
It's a
I don't think
respectful
so.
representation.
You have no idea. You
Using
don't,
the American flag in any clothing or ornament like that is inappropriate.
it allows
You have
people.
to burn it now, because otherwise it won't be won't be according to most state statutes and flag desecration.
It's not helpful. Here, when we're trying to move product.
As long as you stop, don't
What?
don't.
Fred
throw-
wants to vent some more.
And what's some more? What now, Fred?
What'd you cut me off for?
Well, because.
Well, she hasn't got a
You were
clue
funny.
about politics either.
Well, yes, she does. She's
No, she
fine.
does. She has not a clue about politics.
You're an angry white man.
Ask
You're an angry
Brokaw,
white
man. Go
man,
ask
Fred.
Brokaw what he thinks, or Mike Wallace what he thinks.
Get my brother
Man,
off the
The
air.
rubber doll must not be giving it up or something, man.
God almighty.
God,
Maybe she's getting sticky. And he's,
What happened? A rubber doll probably's got a hole in
his
it.
tray is not in the fully upright and locked position.
It is 11 minutes till the hour, and I am Imus. We're talking with Laura Ingram. We're trying to talk with Laura Ingram, who's all upset at my guy, James Carville. Why?
Aye.
Tell me why.
He, as you might have heard on Meet the Press on Sunday, he announced that he was going to start the quote, and this is the name of it, the Education and Information Project, which will be a campaign to discredit the prosecutorial integrity of Kenneth Starr, who, as you know, is the independent counsel investigating Whitewater and a bunch of other ethics issues involving the president. Carville claims that Ken Starr is merely a, quote, bitter partisan who Carville knows detests President Clinton and thus cannot do a objective job. And I got to say to this, it's kind of bizarre behavior. I mean, Ken Starr hasn't really been saying anything and hasn't really done anything yet. And certainly there was no October surprise, contrary to Lawrence Walsh, who, as you remember, issued indictments right before the election in 1988. And his report, just listen, okay?
go
For a
ahead.
change, try to learn
He doesn't
something.
remember.
Don't-
Why you're here.
because
That's why you're here.
yeah,
I'm listening.
You're rolling your eyes.
No,
because
I'm
you
not
always
rolling my
protected-
eyes, but you're just going on and on here.
Well,
and
listen, and the point is, it's bizarre behavior. The only thing that explains it, the only thing that explains it is that the White House is really worried. They're really worried that Ken Starr's investigation is coming forward with things that might or might not be criminal wrongdoing. You've improved your looks 100% with that thing you just put up your nose.
Don't do that.
It's better than taking the
Idiot.
gum in Amazon. So,
Are you going to chew that now?
I do think it is. I agree with you. I think it's a little bizarre to attack Kenneth Starr because it reminds me of what they were doing with Archibald Cox during the Nixon thing. I mean, what's the point? I don't get.
And remember, we had a similar outburst in September by the president, who started also completely unprompted or for any real reason started attacking Ken Starr. Again, at that time, they were beginning to launch this preemptive strike in an attempt to discredit Mr. Starr before any indictments or anything else. Maybe no indictments will even issue. We haven't heard anything yet. I mean, I say just let the guy do his job and actually do something novel for a change. Actually release documents when they're subpoenaed.
Yeah,
I mean,
tell the truth.
Yeah.
Well, actually, do as the New York Times and the Washington Post and people like Richard Cohen and other people who you would least expect to suggest the following, and that is that for once the people in the White House started owning up to stuff and telling the truth about things. I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean, Carville's complaining. One of his complaints is that Ken Starr is dragging his
you leave
feet.
Carville alone. He's my guy.
Is dragging his feet. I know that's the best thing he has going for him is that he likes you. That's a good sign.
And he's
so
a stand-up guy, isn't he?
The most powerful voice in radio. Don Imus.
Can you? I saw.
That's nauseating. Don't play that anymore. It's
I saw
awful.
Carville on, and don't wear that outfit anymore. What's this, Halloween deal?
Walmart. I got it at
What is
Walmart.
that?
Oh, that is
Got a-
too vicious.
Oh, okay, Mr. Pastel, whatever that is you're wearing.
This
That's
happens to
frightful.
be a Made in America
Oh, I'm
Lucchese
sure.
cowboy
Looks like
shirt.
it walked in here by itself. How much starch do you have on that
Quite
shirt?
a bit.
Oh,
so.
my goodness.
The body like mine, you need a lot of starch.
Hold it all together.
Yeah. Oh, you got me so upset. I don't know what I was going to ask.
But
you.
I mean,
Good, then shut up and listen.
yeah.
Go ahead,
The point is, he's been complaining about Ken Starr's foot dragging his feet on this whole investigation.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
Let me think my thought, and then your caboose of thought will follow.
Now, as I was about to say.
Don't do that.
Doing that, he's muting me. He's muting me.
Go ahead.
It's the White House's fault that this
By the
thing
way, you
has gone
shut
on.
up.
Would you let them?
Or you'll be over there wins reading the news for 80 grand a year.
The guest finish a
You
statement.
be quiet. Why don't you shut your mic off and just mind your own business? Go ahead. Miss Ingram.
Any delay in this investigation by Ken Starr has been perpetuated by a White House which refuses to turn over a document, which finds them on tabletops,
Yeah, okay.
which they levitate them and they suddenly appear out of nowhere. That's why this thing has taken so long. If they've actually handed over the documents,
Stonewalling.
Here's what I was going to say. I saw Carville. I got the feeling he was not totally serious. I think he was just trying to needle
I've
his
read all
wife.
the news reports that followed this and interviewed him. He's totally
since one of the
serious.
news reports accurate about any of
Well,
this
no,
stuff.
he's given subsequent interviews about this. No, he's very
Well,
serious.
do you
He's
think
going to
he's
raise
serious,
money.
Charles?
He probably
Yeah, he's
is
very
some
serious.
kind of a disinformation.
Floated a balloon there.
Yeah, I think exactly. 10-4 burning. Live from Santa Fe, New Mexico, my very rude brother,
Really?
Fred Imus, was very rude to Miss Ingram, Fred. Weren't you?
I'm never appearing on your show again. See if you can get Jeep Eagle to sponsor her.
I think we could get Jeep Eagle to sponsor.
She talked about those government programs.
Yes.
For affirmative action, she wouldn't even have a job.
Ooh, that's some fighting words, Fred man.
I'd read her thing on the internet, but it's hard to read in Crayola.
Here's...
Shut up and comb your face.
And I got an NBC catalog the other day.
Yeah.
And they sell clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
They sell shirts for the same amount I do, except they're imported.
Yeah, from Taiwan. How about that? Same amount of money. What do you have to say about that, Miss Ingram?
Just like the news, she has not
Seriously.
a clue what she's talking about.
Have
You leave her
you
alone,
must have
Fred.
replaced F. Lee Bailey. 'Cause I just can't.
Why has this turned into a
I cannot
huge fight here
compete with
this
the
morning?
legal
Ugly.
reasoning and
Hate
deductive
radio.
reasoning of Fred
Can't we all
Imus.
just get along? You're very rude, Fred. You
Not
apologize to
rude.
Miss Ingram.
I'll tell you when I would have had to apologize.
Grow some hair.
Let me tell you when I would have had to apologize.
What,
some
Fred?
teeth.
If I could have found the phone number when she first got on, that's when I would have had to apologize.
It's 11.
But now I don't have to apologize.
My
'cause
brother-
I just said what I think.
Fred, I love you. I
Here's
think
what's
you're great.
interesting. My
I
brother.
hate you. I hate Lori. I hate her.
My brother has been calling this
If she
program.
works for CBS, I'll never watch Dan Rather again. You can tell him
You never
that.
watched him anyway.
My
I
brother.
used to like Dan Rather.
My brother's been calling this program for 10 years.
Yeah.
He has no idea what the phone number is, does he?
He still doesn't know. That old speed dial function is complicated, isn't it, Fred?
She was just talking about how much she liked you, Fred, and how overpriced your products were. Of course,
They're not overpriced.
I know she was just kidding about
I'm just
that.
kidding, Fred.
And I hate her.
It's 12 minutes.
It's not working. The olive branch is being
let me tell you-
completely spurned.
Now, let me tell you why I know he doesn't hate her. Because did you notice how much that blow-up doll looked like Laura?
Yep.
Huh?
I post for that.
Except I didn't dress the doll in clothes from a garage sale.
Jesus! This is out of control here.
Fred, I think you need to go back to all
Yeah,
your
you
yuppie
really-
neighbors there and, go sit around and have a coffee cappuccino clatch over there and talk about how you're going to pay people so many benefits and, let them stay home with their sick children. Oh, please. You're
That-
such a humanitarian. Seriously, Fred, I'm calling the Nobel Committee.
Here's a serious question I have about. Do you know who Victoria Tensing is?
Where's
What?
Bo Dietl when you need him?
Oh, he's still there. He's like, he's
I
like a
know,
latent
it's just-
virus. He's just still in your system. You can't get rid of him.
Leave my brother alone, Donna. What's the matter with you?
I love it.
Do you have Bo Dietl's number?
No, Fred, we don't, and you don't either. Do you know who?
Okay, do you have OJ's number?
God, get him off. Jesus Christ.
Imus.
It's our leader on MSNBC, Andrew Lack, right?
A genius.
And,
A true genius.
Andy Lack's that load they're gonna have in there. You couldn't watch this program on MSNBC and make any sense of it.
What are they doing?
Well, they've just got us chopped up, and they're running promos, and do they have a sales staff over there who can sell anything? Remind me to call that nitwit Andrew Lack this
I
morning.
thought you meant that genius.
Well, is it Andrew Lack?
Absolutely, a true genius.
We think is a true genius, by the way.
And a handsome man, may I add.
Very irritating ad in the New York Times this morning for MSNBC. Here's why it's irritating. They run photographs of all of the people who appear on MSNBC. Not only do they have the I-Man in the second tier of people who appear on MSNBC. Next to Soledad O'Brien and some fat babe. When news breaks, it's CNN. You're not going to have to be, wade through some computer jive with Soledad O'Brien to get to find out what's going on. We're simulcast currently on MSNBC. We're a pathetic, hideous network, which cannot possibly suck enough. Down here, way over on the right with these losers next to the fat chick.
Next to the fat.
Yeah, they do. They suck the big hairy one.
Absolutely.
Big throbbing hairy one. Making a sign that says MSNBC sucks is redundant. Everybody knows that. MSNBC just did something great. MSNBC did what they euphemistically called the best of Imus in the morning.
Yeah.
They did an absolutely phenomenal job.
They're making an effort. Absolutely.
Oh, they're making a big-time effort.
They really are.
This hour's Best of Imus was produced with suggestions from Kevin Holland of Fort Madison, Iowa. If you have suggestions for your own Best of Imus show, email them to imus@msnbc.com.
I asked you, and my wife asked you, if you had put anything on your hair.
Why do we even have to get into this?
Okay, if you had put anything on your hair,
Yeah.
or if you had dyed your hair.
Yeah.
You're 52 or 3 years old,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And you denied it.
I did not deny it.
I'm
This is
not
where
going to get into this with
This
you.
is where we have a divergence.
No, you denied it. You said you told me that because you're riding around in your Ranger bass boat down there in Arkansas.
Hold it.
I'm talking.
Hold it.
I'm not going to hold it. Let me finish. Well, go ahead.
You made it sound as though your question was, have you been to a salon?
Oh, no.
Yes, it
No,
was.
you inferred that. I didn't say that at all. That's absolutely not true. Not that you'd been to a salon. I said, did you put anything on your hair? And you said no. No, come on here. You said no.
Colored your hair?
No, I didn't say colored. I said, have you put anything on your hair? I wouldn't even say colored. I know how I phrase things. I said, have you put anything on your hair? You said no. What do we find out now? We find out Bernard Lou. Yes, I want them to know this. We find out that you put sun-in on your hair.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Yes, he did.
Don't say that.
You're down there on the Bull Shoals Lake in northwest Arkansas putting sun-in on your hair.
What's the matter with that?
You know what that means?
What?
That you apparently, because somebody who is committed to Christ. No, I'm serious.
For crying out
Then
loud.
do you think Jesus cares what you have on your hair? I'm serious. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't want you to be a mood ring head.
He doesn't. No, absolutely not.
It got a little bit lighter, and then there was some stuff in the shelf, and it said sun, and I put it right on top.
You want to know something else? You weren't truthful either.
Yes, I was truthful.
No, you weren't. You weren't truthful with me. You were embarrassed to tell me you put sun-in on your hair.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Okay, then. That's my point.
We're all flawed.
But there's still apparently...
We all fall short.
Yes, we do.
How can you ever put on a pair of jack boots again, Chuck?
But
I'm ashamed of you.
But I think there's a greater meaning here.
Oh, for crying out loud. This is
I think it illustrates there's this void in your life.
There's no void in my life.
Well, then why do you have to put sun-in on your hair?
Well, I didn't have to. I mean,
You're
my kid said, here,
first of all,
here, put some of this on your hair. I said, okay.
You're 50 years old.
For crying out loud.
50
I
years...
understand that. We're well aware of
nobody 50 years old puts sun in.
I had a squirt thing. I said, squirt. I said, and combed it. What the heck did I know? This is his deal, for God's sake.
Your son.
Yeah.
Your son. Well, I have some questions about your son, by the way.
No questions about
Does your son have a girlfriend?
Well, nothing steady at the moment.
Hey, you know what the best thing about the show on TV is?
No, what would that be?
The special effects. I turned it on last week, and I thought Lucille Ball was reading the news for you.
Oh, thank you.
No, Charles put sun in his hair.
Oh, for crying out. Let's not revisit
Chuck,
this
you got
issue.
redder hair than Shirley MacLaine. Hey, but Chuck, listen, on the sun-in thing,
Yeah.
the first step is to admit that you have a problem, son.
We've been there. I've done that.
No, really. Admit that you're powerless over the sun-in.
Hello, my name is Chuck. I've colored my hair.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think 90 trips to Frederick Fekkai in 90 days. Frederick Fekkai being the place they cut hair.
Right.
Chuck, here's a thought. Buzz it, baby, and start all over again.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. I'll consider that.
There's an interview that John Kennedy Jr. conducted with me in the June issue. So it's a June issue of George magazine that, well, the interview was fine, and I like him very much, and he's a very bright young man. But it is the sloppiest piece of work that I have ever been a part of. Ooh. Just a sloppy transcription of remarks that I made and that he taped. So you would think that there would be some way to transcribe this so that it was accurate. Well, here's one example, and then we'll get to the meat of this thing. He asked me, he said, who do you think makes a good politician, and what do you think makes a good politician, and whom do you like? Then I said, I like Al D'Amato. People call here, and we refer them to his office, and then every time we've had anybody with some sort of problem call his office, his staff has always been very responsive, and that has not been the case with other politicians whom I shall not name here this morning. I also said I have great admiration for Chris Dodd, which I do. I have tremendous admiration for John Kerry, though I know lots of folks think he's a transparent weasel. I don't. Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman is a marvelous person, I said. If you can get by being lectured to, I've always had great admiration and respect for Mario Cuomo. I like Senator John McCain enormously. I think he is a person of real conscience. And then Mr. Kennedy says, does he come on the show? And I say, McCain? Yes, but we have to have a 4 to 5 week flirtation with his weasel workers before he will. Well, that's insanity. That's not what I said. So, Bernard, I have my little my 60-minute stopwatch here.
Right.
I want you to try to get a hold of let's see how long it takes to get a hold of Senator McCain, okay? Go.
10-4.
All right. Now, while Bernard is trying to get a hold of Senator John McCain, five seconds to come by, there is a story on AP, the Associated Press. The headline reads, Don Imus apologizing to President Clinton, ? Sure sounds like it. Well, according to this AP report that I said in George magazine, the remarks that I made suggested that I apologized to the President, Mrs. Clinton, which is... good morning, Senator McCain.
Good morning, Don. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hey, listen, I heard you got taken in by that old taxi, the rich guy's jet onto the tarmac trick at Monument Valley.
Well, we actually, Senator McCain, we landed at Cayente.
Cayente, yeah, that's a cottage industry there. Just taxi the old guy right over there, and costs a lot of money to jack up those expensive airplanes. We appreciate that contribution to the local economy. A lot of guys, they used to just fly in and fly out without spending a dime.
And you know what happened? We were in a Gulfstream 4.
Yeah, listen, I heard all about it.
Oh, okay. So.
In fact, they knew you were coming. And they softened up that tarmac, and those wheels sunk right in.
Have you ever landed at that airstrip?
Yeah, but I wasn't dumb enough to taxi over onto the tarmac.
Oh. Senator McCain is going to be out in, is it near Page, Arizona on May 31st?
Vermilion Cliffs, which you're familiar with, which is north of the Grand Canyon. We're going to release 9 more condors, and it's a remarkable thing to see.
I told Deidre about this and said that you had invited us, but it is, unfortunately, that is the first day that my brother and I will be signing copies of Two Guys, Four Corners.
Which means crass commercialism takes precedence over love of nature. Is that
yes, sir.
We've determined your priorities.
But in which your name is mentioned in this book, in the acknowledgments as being very helpful in terms of showing me where to go in Arizona and those various other places.
Well, it's a pleasure, and I'm sorry you're going to miss the condor release because it's we've discussed this before, but here's a bird that was almost extinct. They had to take all of them into captivity, and now we're releasing them thanks to the Peregrine Fund and a lot of other people, and cooperation from Bruce Babbitt, the Secretary of Interior, and a lot of people. And as I told you, the first release we had, they released 6 of them. Nobody knew whether they were going to fly or not because they were born in captivity. They flew. And by the way, a couple of weeks later, one of them was killed by a golden eagle. Very interesting kind of thing to watch happen here and trying to restore this magnificent bird. Before I sound like a liberal pinko and viro, I better stop.
Well, the Vermilion Cliffs now, I mean, that's pretty close. I mean, I was just there. That's pretty close. That's very close to Page, right?
Yeah. It is, but it's probably one of the largest areas in the country where there's very little, least populated areas. And in order for the condor to survive, they have to have that kind of a situation, or they fly into power lines. Over in California, one of them even went over to a barbecue grill to grab his dinner, and that certainly startled the inhabitant there. But it's a great experience, and they'll do it again, and maybe you can see it some of the time. But again, this bird has a 10-foot wingspan. It's an incredible animal.
No, what I'd like to do is take photographs of it. There'll be people there shooting it, right, from Arizona Highway, stuff like that?
Yeah, there'll be people up there.
Oh, man. Well,
anyway, crass commercialism prevails again. I understand.
I'm very sorry, but thank you for inviting me, and thanks for calling.
Okay.
Or thanks for just answering the phone, I guess.
It's a pleasure.
Senator John McCain here. I was in my morning program. It's 11 minutes after the hour. It took 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Took 40 seconds to get a hold of you. It's not something we set up either.
What's up with that, John?
In fact, Bernard asked me earlier. He said, in fact, I asked Bernard, I said, should we set this up? And he said, no. So now we have AP, and AP has this story that suggests that I have apologized to the Clintons for these remarks I made at the Radio and Television Correspondents' Dinner, which I have not done, nor do I intend to ever do. And you could torture me, and I wouldn't. Here's what I said, though. He asked me, John Kennedy Jr. said, why were people so incensed over your speech last year at the dinner for the Radio Television Correspondents Association? It wasn't all that different from your show. And I pointed out to him, I said, you know what's interesting is I lived with the material for 6 weeks and talked to everybody about it. And the more comfortable you get with the material, the more it seems fine. I mean, if you go over something 100 times, there's nothing in it that seems offensive. There was one joke, Clinton's propensity to screw around, a joke that I had already discussed with the president on the radio. But I was standing in front of him. He's here, and his wife is here, and all these people are there. I'm gesturing to him as we're talking in my office. And the people are looking at the Clintons to see what their reaction is. And then I said, it wasn't whether it was funny or not, it was whether it was appropriate. Now that I've had time to think about it, it was hideously inappropriate. Even though I thought it was funny and wasn't offensive, I talked about how I can't watch a videotape of it because I get queasy when I see the old flop sweat rolling down my face. But the point was that in retrospect, I recognize I would have to be a fool not to recognize that the material was inappropriate. But that doesn't mean that I'm sorry I did it. I'm not sorry I did it. I did not say in George Magazine any place that I was sorry I did it, that I regretted that I did it, nor did I say I apologize to these people. Nor would I apologize to them. I would never apologize to the President of the United States or his wife, even I like both of them, for anything.
Die first.
You could torture me. I wouldn't. I swear to God. I swear on my little wife's heart, I wouldn't apologize. I wouldn't ever. And then we have these lying sons of bitches over here at Channel 2. It's the most disgraceful news organization on the planet. And they have a headline last night in their stupid promo for their can't suck enough newscast, which runs 5th in a 3-station lineup here in New York City, saying Imus apologizes to the Clintons. Where did it say that?
Hello.
Then they ran their story. There's no apology. I didn't apologize to anybody. Which is why you should watch Channel 7 with Bill Butel and those folks and that woman, I forget her name now, but she's great. They're both great. Or you should watch Channel 4, which is even better. Channel 2, first of all, Bud Carey, the general manager, who I've known for years, he's an incompetent buffoon and should be fired.
A loser.
And I've got a couple of million shares of Westinghouse stock, and I'll be talking to the Zen Master. I want them out of there. They're the reason that the Westinghouse stock sucks. It's people like Bud Carey, and I am demanding that they clarify this tonight. All I simply said was I recognize now that the material was inappropriate. I'm not apologizing for anything. How insane is that?
Where does it say?
Where does it say that?
He says he's sorry. Where does it say that?
It doesn't say that. It doesn't even imply that. There's no implication. You can't infer from me saying that the material is hideously inappropriate that I'm sorry for doing it. All I did was recognize that it was stupid. It is time now here on the Imus in the Morning program, over from the Archdiocese in New York, John Cardinal O'Connor. Good morning, Cardinal O'Connor.
Good morning, and God bless.
Cardinal.
And how is the host of the highest-rated program on MSNBC this morning?
Just fine.
Highest-rated indeed.
Is that a snap-on hat you have on there?
Isn't that a bit like being the best player on a wheelchair basketball team, be Jesus? It means nothing, you filthy bag of win you.
That will be fine.
The winning numbers in the New York State Lottery is as follows. The daily number. 614.
Okay, God.
Be Jesus. Hi, McCord.
Morning, Cardinal.
McCord, I hear you've been telling some good Betty Shabazz jokes out in the newsroom, be Jesus.
I don't think I've been doing
Stupid,
that at
sycophantic
all.
Nazi, you be Jesus.
No, I haven't.
In all fairness, I've never heard McCord use the N-word. I think he prefers you bangy these days, be Jesus.
That's ridiculous, Your Eminence.
McCord, quick. Still some desert sand on the I-man's boots. You better get down and start licking, be Jesus. Nickeled up old lizard. Why don't you lick this, you schmuck, you? 2 guys, 4 corners, indeed. Make you sick. You know those boyhood pictures of Fred and yourself on the cover? Could be using a commercial for the French abortion pill, be Jesus. Sound like M&M's, you 2 little dirtbags, just be Jesus.
Maybe we should pick the pace up here, Cardinal, or maybe we should do this more often so we're, you know.
How about a book, 2 guys, 4 bullets, you schmuck, you? Tell you that. Let me just say the win 4 number.
Yeah.
4031.
Okay.
Let me just say this to panties-wearing Mike Wallace and Phil Donahue about their cynical plea for televised executions. You want to watch someone die on TV? Tune into Imus on MSNBC between 6 and 9 a.m. Tell you that, just what? He's not just dying, he's decomposing. Every sense. Which reminds me, I can't wait to river dance on the I-man's grave. Wonder what that'd be like. Come on up, Deirdre.
Cardinal's now dancing. This is great. This is great radio.
Well, it's goodbye to the I-man. You took so light to die, man. The more I did me praying, the more you just grew old. But sure as Oprah's gay, we finally passed away. And now just like me, Budweiser, your corpse is nice and cold. Jesus.
But this is not funny. This is stupid. Go ahead, Cardinal.
You come in here and wax my shillelagh, you scumball.
That would be Jesus.
Pick 10 numbers is as follows.
What are they?
All right.
So the current Mrs. Imus is a part in the movie, is that right, Imus Namar?
Where are the numbers?
What's the movie called? Easy Money 2, be Jesus? We all know she can act, I'll tell you that. The pick 10 numbers is as follows. 1, 2, 5, 8, 10, 13, 16, 17, 19, 20, 24, 42, 43, 53, 55, 57, 67, 69, 73, 80.
Well, why is it always 80, by the way?
What's the difference between the I-man and a grape?
I don't know.
When the grape withers away, it's still useful, be Jesus.
It's true.
Fred Imus still going down on his blow-up doll, Imus tomorrow. Which doesn't belong and why?
Oh, okay, I like this. Which doesn't belong and why?
Which doesn't belong and why?
All right.
A, Don Imus.
Don Imus.
B, Fred Imus.
Fred Imus.
C, Mike Tyson. Which doesn't belong and why?
Well, clearly Mike Tyson.
Wrong, you butt-sniffing baboon, you be Jesus. Well, all 3 are semi-literate, knuckle-dragging millionaire savages who like to eat other men. The answer is A, Don Imus doesn't belong because unlike the other 2, Don Imus swallows, be Jesus.
Get out of here.
Where's me flipping cup of tea, be Jesus?
It's 34
Well,
minutes
let's get
past
back
now.
to the I-man. He
All
takes
right,
all
Imus
of
in
the
the
day,
Morning
man.
program. Cardinal O'Connor.
That intern wearing a bra, be Jesus.
Get out.
Well, he's making the scene at the CS Space Museum. I was dressed like a Marine and people got up early just to see him. It may be mean, but he looked like he belonged in the mausoleum. G.I.I. man, evil and satanic. G.I.I. man causing such a panic. Today your captain of the ship is just too bad it ain't the Titanic. Well, back in the day, Private Imus signed up for war. The Army didn't want him, and the Coast Guard wasn't sure. Even the Navy wouldn't take him, so instead he was rotten to the call. G.I.I. man, Imus in the morn. Helmet instead of cowboy hat, them long curly locks was shorn. Played trumpet for the Marines, even then you like to blow your own horn. He met a lady in the bar, damn fine-looking mademoiselle. A sultry kind of woman could make a man go AWOL. But there was something Imus didn't ask her and something that she didn't tell. G.I.I. man, we say simplify. If you were really a jarhead, won't you please just tell us why? Last time you was in uniform, you decided to kiss a guy. Once they was alone, there was a bone of contention. The girl started to moan, but there was something she didn't mention. The I-man, he was thrown because it defied comprehension. She had a bone of her own, and it was standing at attention. I-man, you're officer of the deck. Captain of the ship, though you look like a shipwreck. You will always be a Marine, because you was born with that leather neck.